like to entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
They're doing some slight layout changes to the interior of the building, but generally it's the same with the retail section in front of you. You have two doors, they'll use the same one at 752 as the entrance, 748 as the exit. Otherwise, pretty much everything is the same. So we're required to have the public hearing and have you guys vote on it before we can update their SE permit that goes to the county.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for clarifying that this is because the new ordinance hasn't taken effect. So I'm like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
did we talk about this already?
Well, as a reminder, that will only bypass planning.
Right.
If it was the case where it has been in effect and it's closed, but they had already applied, it would have still come to you anyway.
But just not planning.
Correct.
So, okay, let's go ahead and open the public hearing. Is there anybody who has a comment on this item? I know it's really exciting. We're going to trans. It is a capitalist country, so.
Things are market driven.
Yep, exactly. But I think it would be silly to deny, and we get a portion of their licensing fees, right? Right, Joe? Yeah. So we'd be cutting money out of our system.
Well, it really doesn't bother me to not have that one.
Okay. Any other comments?
They're not closing. The owners are moving. And so someone else is buying the building. They're still gonna get the same foot traffic. It's just under new owners. Just like other businesses in town, I guess, who come under new owners. That doesn't mean that the business is gonna fail. That doesn't mean that the business is still in before. That just means that the people who were in the business before decided that they wanted out of the business and somebody wanted to take over the business. Now, and for the record, we're not opening another dispensary. We're just approving the transfer of hands of the dispensary from one owner to another. That's different than having another dispensary.
So when we first accepted marijuana to be sold here in our county, in our city, this kind of activity was predicted. You know, there were so many people that wanted to be in on the business. I should have let all those people in. So it's gonna happen. We're gonna have people
try to prevent a business, especially when we receive revenue from them regardless of what happens, so. All right, any other comments before we vote? All right, I entertain a motion to approve.
Support.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yes.
All right, motion carries. The lease will be assigned. Ready to say any more than that?
We're effectively updating the SE permit, so, and I'll come to you for a signature as well as the Joe and our building official.
All right, sounds good, thank you so much.
Yep.
All right, next one, I think, John, is you too. It's the ordinance amendment, first reading for the mixed use conditions in business districts. And this will allow for more residential and business areas, correct?
Yeah, it gives a little more flexibility to developers in situations that I'd say are a little bit more complex. Currently, we have a provision, we do allow for mixed use, and you see that like in our historic district downtown. But it's, the second one of those is a little bit difficult to work with because it says residential and non-residential uses shall not be contained on the same floor.
Okay.
And when you have corner lots, and especially through lots where they have frontages on two sides, and especially like between North Main and Railroad Drive, where you have different things at different levels, you're not always gonna make that line up, especially if you have a business that goes, or a residence that goes up 2 or 3 floors, you know, and so we've had applicants in the past try to do something like this, and they unfortunately are just stopped by the zoning official. They say, nope, I mean, the only potential solution is to split the property. And you can't really do that when you have, sometimes the front of the building on the main floor goes back halfway, and on the next floor up, it doesn't go halfway, it goes 3/4 or 2/3 or 1/3, so you can't really split it. So planning commission has come up with language that suggests as long as you have a physical separation, like a firewall, between the front and the half that can be discerned separately, that you're able to approve these on a conditional basis. And for really unique situations, they would just go to planning commission for their consent, to review the case on a case basis before it moves forward. So,
And then it wouldn't have to come to us, correct? Planning commission can make a final call there.
this would be a conditional use, so it's not a special exception, so it would not come to you. So, and as a reminder, this is just the first time you've seen this. It has been in front of the planning commission, just requires a public hearing tonight. It's already been planned for. We noticed them for both meetings. So, but no decisions tonight, just hold a public hearing.
Okay, sounds great. All right, another exciting one, everybody. Let's open to public comment for this item on the agenda. Don't all come up at once. All right, seeing no comments, I'll go ahead and close public comment. And, I guess I did it backwards yesterday, or last time, as I sometimes do. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
All right, fantastic. Any discussion from the commission?
I think that it could potentially bring more business into town. And I'm always up for giving people opportunities to have working cases.
Working in living spaces together. That's a lot of people's dream, so. And I actually know somebody who was denied many years ago for exactly the reasons you're describing, and she's no longer here, and her business is no longer in town, and we lost a really cool person who was greatly contributing then and would still be now if this had been in place, so. Kudos to the planning commission for taking this on. We're really grateful to see it, and you definitely have my support.
We'll be a final draft by second meeting in July, depending on TJ's availability for review. So.
Any other comments before we vote? We have to do this the vote tonight, right, to approve, or not yet?
You already
Not
have the
tonight.
public
Okay,
hearing, so
perfect.
that's all you need to do.
Okay, wonderful, well, that makes it easy. No, right, I'm voting for it this time too, in the first place, all right. Okay, what do we have next? All right, general comments. There better be some folks coming up to talk tonight, I know there's at least 1 or 2, so come on up. Please introduce yourself and state your name and your address for the record, please.
Sure. Good evening, Mayor, City Commissioners. My name is Brian Nelligan. I live at 221 South Andrew Street. And while I serve on the Planning Commission, I'm here tonight strictly as a private citizen and urban farmer. I want to bring to your attention some critical issues within our current zoning and animal control ordinances. Ultimately, I hope to convince you to direct the Planning Commission to align our city code with the Michigan Right to Farm Act and its associated generally accepted agricultural management practices, or GAMS. Doing so will shield the city from legal liability while encouraging economic development and food security. In the interest of transparency, I'm personally working to open a local farm stand, and after being denied a permit from the city, I'm going through the process with NDARD to confirm compliance. Excuse me. To confirm compliance with the farm market GAMS, which legally preempts city code enforcement. However, I'm speaking tonight to correct these ordinances for the next resident, someone who may not have the legal background or time, energy, or inclination to advocate for themselves here. Currently, several sections of our municipal code regarding farm animals and farm stands are legally unenforceable because they violate the Right to Farm Act. State law explicitly preempts local zoning that conflicts with state adopted GAMS. At issue here are the farm market GAMS and the site selection GAMS. To put it simply, the state only allows municipalities to ban or regulate livestock in areas defined as primarily residential. Our blanket bans are unenforceable outside of these strict zones. Furthermore, when the commercial grower complies with farm market GAMS, local cities cannot ban, overregulate, or require special use permits for farm markets under 120 square feet. Maintaining non-compliant ordinances exposes three rivers to significant legal vulnerability, including potentially paying opposing attorney fees and challenge in court. But this isn't just about legal vulnerabilities, it's also an incredible opportunity. Updating our code allows us to embrace urban agriculture as an economic micro-engine. It can transform underutilized vacant lots, reactivate blighted industrial areas, and keep food dollars directly in our neighborhoods. The HUS project is a phenomenal example of what's possible here. We can build on their success by looking beyond standard zoning and incorporating innovative tools like food innovation district overlays, allowing food processing, commercial kitchens, market gardens, and housing to cluster by right. Let's create a predictable path for the next generation of local producers. I respectfully ask that you place this topic on the agenda for your next regular meeting and ultimately direct the planning commission to take 3 actions. 1, amend section 4.21 of the city code to clarify that livestock restrictions only apply to primarily residential areas as defined by state GAMS. 2, repeal or amend zoning ordinances in chapter 30 that conflict with the Right to Farm Act and submit those changes to NDARD for compliance review. And lastly, draft a comprehensive urban agriculture ordinance to foster food security and local economic growth. Thank you for your time, your attention, and your continued service to Three Rivers.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you doing so much research on that. That is absolutely fantastic. Thank you. Is there anyone who would like to see that on the agenda next week or next meeting?
It would have to go through the planning commission first.
No, we're being asked to direct the planning commission to do so.
We can do that now, yeah, we can just do it now.
Great.
Planning commission to check it.
Yeah.
You cannot direct the planning commission to do, you have to do this. You can refer it to the planning commission for review, and they report back. So it's correct, yeah, ask them to take a look at it, move through it, that it's dealt as well within there, the planning commission will then look at their authority and then report back at it's a process, but yeah, I mean, so you don't need a formal motion to refer, you can just say, we're asking that this be sent to the planning commission.
Sounds like we have
Yeah,
consensus.
sounds really
Yeah, let's do
interesting,
it.
and it's come up, before over the years, so it'd be interesting to know just what we can and cannot do as
Absolutely.
our cities grow.
PJ, as are our codes allowed to supersede the state codes?
Absolutely not.
Well, there are areas in which they defer to local zoning under the zoning enablement act that we do have authority if it's a direct conflict. I don't necessarily agree with everything he said regarding right to farm preempts all of our codes, that's not accurate. Some of them maybe, but I think it's worth looking into if there's a question, I think it's worth examining, if that's people's desire to, things are changing every day in municipalities, and we just changed our ordinance to allow for building in lots we never allowed to build on before because of the need and the desire. And so for that reason, I think, the commission can take a look at it and identify where, potential vulnerabilities are. I don't ever think it's a bad idea to always, review and look if there's a question, that we make sure that we are solid, not solid ground, if anything to tell somebody, so. I do think that it's probably worth looking into it for sure.
Certainly, we don't want somebody to challenge us.
And the reason why I was asking is because, are we allowed to enforce those codes if they supersede the state code?
You mean if they're in conflict with the state code?
Yes.
Yeah, so and I apologize, I think I misunderstood you
No,
first.
that's fine.
Because when I hear supersede, what I think is our code is above that code. That's why that's why I was a little hesitant.
No, it was two separate codes.
Yeah, so no.
Two separate codes.
If our code isn't, we can enforce our code. If somebody challenges the code, says it's unenforceable, then we go to court and determine whether or not that is accurate or not, and that the court will tell us whether or not we can. There are some codes, for instance, under some of the disorderly statutes that we found out, we talk about swearing in public as being a disorderly, which.
Don't
has
forget
been-
that you can't begin
Has
in
been-
any city or in any place in the city.
has been repealed, or has been basically struck down by the Supreme Court saying that's free speech. So there are areas in which you can enforce it. Now, if there is an area of law that is in direct conflict and the court determines that, then we would have to rewrite our ordinance or repeal the ordinance in that situation.
So this would be a preemptive strike to something like that happening?
Yeah, I think he's asking, again, I don't want to speak to Mr. Nelgren, but I think it's take a look at all of this and figure out what can be done, what's permitted, what's not permitted, what's in conflict, what's not in conflict, and just take a fresh review of it. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's accurate.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to get too bogged down in the details, but primarily residential has a specific definition, and most of Three Rivers would fall under that definition. So that allows you to regulate livestock.
So
A lot of
we
times-
need a consent to,
Would not,
we don't need consent?
To direct,
Yeah.
I think you do by consensus if you wanted to just ask the commission,
We don't need
the
a
planning
specific
commission to take a look at it. Yeah, that's
Consent
fine.
by consent.
Yeah, let's do it.
Just have the planning commission look into it.
Yes.
And I always like to get our legal opinion
No.
before I speak on anything.
Oh, sure.
No, again, I appreciate the questions, Commissioner Brown, and it's a good question, but I definitely think that if there are areas that could be fortified and need to be redone, then we can redo them and make sure that we're in compliance, for sure.
our city ordinances are, in my opinion, a wreck. A lot of them are a wreck, and I think it's time that we start taking every opportunity to move forward and update them and correct them and bring them into 2026. So this is a great place to start. Thank you so much for bringing this to our attention. I'm really excited to see what the planning commission has to say about all this stuff, because you guys do a good job, and I'm sure it'll be very thorough. So, thank you. Anyone else for public comment? Comment?
As you know, the Three Rivers Water Festival is this weekend, starting Thursday, so there will be no parking on Thursday from 6 to 8. And then Friday from 2 p.m. till Saturday at 2 p.m. to accommodate for cornhole and, the car show on Saturday. But along with that, the DDA has some exciting things going on at the Amphitheater. Thursday night, we're gonna have a movie, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It's free for the community. It's going to start at 9:45, because it's, June 19th and a few days from the longest day of the year. And then Friday, we'll have Juneteenth, which Tori will be there, right? Thank you. That will start at 6 p.m. and we have, a lot of performers coming for that. And then Saturday, we have the Kalamazoo Concert Band will be at the Amphitheater. They're part of the Waterfest, but they're using the amphitheater for that, so hopefully everybody will be there.
Hey, stay put for a sec. Don't you have a really cool event coming up on June 28th?
Hopefully, we just submitted the public assembly permit for that, so as long as it comes through, yes, we will have an artisan market on Sunday, June 28th at the amphitheater. It will be 11 to 2, so we have bingo planned, face painting, we're hoping to get live music there, and besides vendors, of course. And any, businesses, like downtown businesses, if they wanna set up a booth there, they're more than welcome to, so.
Sounds
Yeah.
great. Thank you.
Yep.
I just saw that today, very exciting.
Yeah.
Glad to see it. Thanks, Angie. Anybody else for general public comment? All right, doesn't look like it. Okay, I'll go ahead and close public comment and we can move along. All right, next up, very exciting, water chemicals. Let's see, Amy, are you coming on? All let you tell us about this one. Okay. Well, we have bids for water chemicals, and the recommendation is to authorize the purchase of $105,570 in chlorine and orthopolyphosphate from Elkhorn Company. There are a lot of different things involved, I guess, in this, but I only see just like 2 chemicals. Is that all the chemicals that we're using right now?
For our drinking water system.
Okay, and then the others are waste. Okay, excellent, thanks. All right, does anybody have any comments or questions about water from the public? All right.
I do.
Come on. Please come up. Oh. Please state your name and address for the record, and 5 minutes.
I'm Kathy Roberts, and I am from Fabius Township. And my question is, are there any other things that can be put in the water to make it, I guess you could say, safe? Because the chemicals that were mentioned are actually hazardous. My opinion, but I've done a little research on that. So I was wondering if there's other types of things that, or how the water could be conditioned. Thank you.
So I can add to that just a little bit. We're required to have chlorine in our water. Is that correct, Amy? It is. I also did some research on the, orthopolyphosphate, and as picky as I am about chemicals, I found it to be incredibly safe, and I couldn't find any reason to object to it. So, if anybody else has anything to say about orthopolyphosphate, please bring it up. My research showed it was fine. All right, any other questions or comments from the public? Okay, all right. Do we have a motion to approve the drinking water chemicals for fiscal year 2027? Okay, any questions here?
And is this the same company that we had problems with last year where they had?
That was actually 2 years ago now.
Yeah, last.
Yes.
Have our levels changed at all over the years of how much chlorine we're adding?
Yes, so January of last year, we were required by Eagle to increase the amount of chlorine that we're adding to the system. At that same time, we were also required to change our orthopolyphosphate blend and the amount that we were putting into the system, all to assist. First of all, we're sequestering the iron, so not as much of it shows up, and it's also to protect the pipes, so that lead from the service lines or from interior home plumbing is not as easily able to be released into the drinking water.
It's less corrosive, is that correct? Any other questions from the board? Okay. All right, I saw that there were, on these bids, there's sort of different prices, and there's an aquadine and a barrel deposit, or I guess that didn't apply, but you had asked about it. With this aquadine, dollars per gallon, I see that the Water Solutions and the Alexander Chemical Corp didn't bid on that. Tell me more about why that is.
So aquadine is a very special chemical that's actually provided by Elkhorn. We essentially sole source that because it's tied to our drinking water permit. So when Eagle worked with us to find the right balance of chemical, that's the specific chemical. We obviously still open it up to other bidders so they could offer other options for us, and then it's about a 6 to 9 month analysis process before it would change on our permit, but we still like to know what our other options are. So we give them the opportunity to provide bids or any additional information.
Okay, sounds good, thank you for the explanation. I wondered why only one company did.
And that's a brand name of orthopolyphosphate.
Okay, wonderful. All right, do we have a motion on the floor? Forget if I even asked, I believe we do.
Yeah, I was just wondering, the question was there anything else we could use other than the chemicals that we use?
So again, this is working closely with Eagle. These are the chemicals that we are required to use. That doesn't mean that we can't use a different orthopolyphosphate, but like I said, it's about a 9 month process. And these are what they found to work in drinking water systems throughout the country in very specific doses.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Oh, sure, of course. All right, doesn't sound like it. All in favor of accepting Amy's proposal for the drinking water chemical, bid to go to Elkhorn Engineering, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Elkhorn wins the bid. All right, next up, we have tree removal. Here, this is from JC and Sons, and we solicited bids, back in April, and this is not for storm damage though, this is just for normal tree maintenance that we do every year. Do you wanna take it away, Amy?
So we solicited bids in April of 2025, so this is year 2 of the bid and award. And in our budget, the upcoming budget, we have $25,000 that we set aside for tree removal in the right of way. And so with that, we can take care of 14 trees and stumps. And then, as we mentioned, there's other trees and stumps that we reserve money to take care of.
Okay. That we're not talking about tonight.
Oh, they're all in the list.
Oh, okay,
Cemetery,
so
park,
everything
water,
is listed.
cemetery. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a count of how many trees in the city need to be removed?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay, I mean, is there one?
There is a list of requested and or observed removals. So residents request or we observe and then we rate them.
Okay. I asked because, a neighbor kitty corner from me in last year's March storm, they did take out a lot of trees. I mean, it did, so it wasn't just average storm, but he had quite a big tree that was clearly in terrible shape come down on his home and, his recently deceased father's truck. And he's, at this point, arguing with the city about who should pay for it. And thank goodness, no one was hurt. That was a very difficult day. It wasn't as widespread as our tornado, but some of the damage was pretty extreme. My own house was damaged terribly, and I had significant tree damage that day. But his tree was absolutely in terrible shape before that storm, so anything could have blown it down. I'm wondering if we're putting enough money towards this situation so that we're not putting people in danger.
We just tried to have a balanced approach to tree removal. A year ago, forgive me, I don't remember the exact number. It was around $135,000 that commission approved. So we did a massive amount of tree removals and took care of a lot of stumps that had been in people's yards for a very long time. And those trees that we took down were on that list in the higher priorities to be removed. So,
How much, do you have any guess, even just a very round number, of how much you would need to take care of all the dangerous trees in the city? Okay, I would love to hear that number in the near future, because this is a safety issue, and, you know, we're putting people's lives and their homes in danger. Maybe we can figure out a way to speed up this process, so nobody else has to go through what I go through. So, and I wanna say too, that the price that JC and Sons gave us is phenomenal. If you've ever priced tree removal, they are giving us a screaming deal, like thousands less per tree than average people pay. I priced out some tree removal and it was around $7,000 for what they're doing for, I think, $1,700 a tree. So, thank you, JC and Sons. So, all right, do we have a motion to approve? So, oh, anybody? Okay, we have a motion. Does anybody have any questions? No? Okay. I mean, it looks great to me too, so, all right. And there's nothing from the public, I think I asked that, right? Nope, okay. All in favor of approving the, motion to move forward with JC and Sons' second year of their contract and approve the money associated, say aye.
Aye.
All right, any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Amy. And thank you, JC and Sons. All right, next up, we have our sidewalk contract. Let's see, this. bids were opened in April of this year for a 2-year contract with a 1-year optional renewal. And it's just very small number of bids here, just the one, so that makes it simple. And in their bid was $141,790, and you budgeted $100,000 for annual sidewalk work, including the sand and topsoil. And this results in $90,000 in work authorization. Is that buffer, the 10% buffer?
So a lot of times what we do, when we do this bid document, we just set an estimated number of square footage. They give us a unit price.
Okay.
And sometimes that total bid is over what we're going to spend for the year, but they always hold their unit prices, and it gives us the opportunity to,
Choose.
yes,
Okay.
put the pieces together.
Okay, sounds good.
So this is a 1-year amount, this isn't for 2 years, then, this is 141,790?
That would be 1 year's worth of work if they do exactly what's laid out in the bid document. So if they did exactly, 1,000 square feet at the 4-inch thick, remove and replace. And that's not always the case as we go out and find the trip hazards and mark through things. The square footage has changed a lot. So we use that $90,000, we have all of the unit prices, and as we find those segments, we plug them together and stay under that 90,000 is always our goal. If we were to find more major issues that we needed to take care of, we would come back and ask, but it would be an allocation out of fund balance. Specifically municipal streets fund balance, if we were to go over that. So we try to stay in that parameter.
And is that why you're sort of sitting on that extra 10 grand?
So the extra 10 grand, in our bid for sidewalks, we don't require them to have sand, they utilize our sand, and the same thing with topsoil, and we purchase those and have them on site. So that's the other $10,000 is the materials.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, thank you for laying that out for us. Any comments from the board? All right, I know it's super exciting, guys, but we have a lot of sidewalks that we love, so, and there are people that complain about them, so if anybody did want to have something to say, now would be the time. But seeing no comments, I will ask for a motion to approve.
So,
All right, any questions from the board? All right, this is an easy one. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you, Amy. Anything else? Oh, no, you got another one. All right. The sewer extensions for, Miller Court. All right, so we approved, the sanitary sewer extension project back in November. And they determined recently, once they got in it, I'm assuming, that, an existing portion of the main sewer line angled significantly more than identified during the sewer televising and identification. So, the results increased the cost of $5,000. So the recommendation is to approve a change order for $5 grand, for John, is it Botcher?
I get it wrong every time.
For what sounds like John Botcher, sewer excavating, the contractor that's working on the item here. So, is there anything you wanna add to that? Okay, is there any reason we didn't know, like, do we just not really know what's under our streets?
So when we had the end of the existing sewer identified, we know that it goes from the manhole to the end, but you can't really tell how much of an angle it sits at until you can put a laser in it. And as long as the laser were to clear the edge, like the angle worked,
Yeah.
then it meets all the eco standards and the 10 state standards, you don't have to put a manhole there. But this one, until we put a laser in it, which you can't do until both ends are open, we didn't know that that laser was gonna hit, and that angle was too extreme to not have a manhole there. So if the angle was flatter, you don't have to have a manhole, but it was that more, yeah.
All right, I see that we're actually, it looks like now we're just a little bit over the original, or the next highest bid, so I was just really curious about that, but we would have been anyway though, regardless, right?
Yeah, and the next highest bid didn't itemize, so we wouldn't have known how much their manhole, the second manhole was gonna be.
Okay, good to know. All right, thank you for that info. Is there anybody with comments on this item on the agenda? Approval to spend that $12,000. So, thank you. Is there anyone who would like to comment on this very exciting issue? Okay, didn't think so. Do we have a motion to approve?
So,
Okay. All right. I do have some questions. I'm gonna try to remember them because they were on here. So forgive me if I stumble over who the companies were and such, but there was a design team, is it coming back, Tom? Okay, there was a design team that put this together, correct? Okay. Why didn't they know that we would need to have this concrete pad?
They anticipated that it could potentially sit on more of a rack system
Okay.
without needing foundations and this structure to it.
Okay.
Which based on the math, possible,
Okay.
but experience with the contractor and additional information coming out about these transfer switches, the longevity of them, you wanna put them on this bigger pad. So
Okay.
it wasn't an incorrect design, it was, we can do, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'd rather throw a few more dollars in and test it. All right, so we have a motion for, like, just, now my questions are back. All right, okay, sounds good, thank you so much. Any further questions from the board? All right, all in favor of approving the welfare generator project change order number 1, please say aye. All right, any opposed? All right, sounds good, thank you, the motion carries. All right, next up is our fiscal year, okay, I just saw both the chiefs leave the room and I had asked them to watch the weather for us.
Not looking at.
There's a tornado over my house right now.
Yeah, so Niles just got issued a tornado warning.
Warning?
Could potentially be heading our way.
Okay.
So, pick it up.
No more questions.
It's not here yet, but
Let's take a quick, is that sirens?
No.
Oh, okay,
But it'll go off if we get warned.
right, and we won't have time to get home.
No, we go downstairs.
Yeah.
We've been down there before, it's all good.
100%,
Yeah.
it's great.
Some of us have, children, animals, things like that at home, so I see some people nodding along.
No, I mean, yes, a lot, so.
All right, do you have anybody there with them, an adult?
Yeah.
Good.
Well, yeah, they're 2 and 3, that'd be kind of.
Okay. If anything hits Niles, can you let us know, and then at that point, I would like to adjourn, I would like to talk about adjourning if there's actually something serious coming our way. If there's a touchdown. All right, okay, let's move along for now, and Chief, you know how to play now. All right, so next up is the fiscal year 25-26 budget amendment number 4. So these are basically just quarterly amendments that we do. Section 8.10 of our charter permits us to do so, and it's time to do so. Does anybody have any questions from the public? Or, I'm sorry, any comments? Okay. Do we have a motion to approve? So moved. Okay, does anybody have questions? No, okay, I have a lot of questions, and I sent them to Joe yesterday, and they weren't able to be answered. So, I mean, you gave us some handouts, but, I'll just quickly list my questions, because they were pretty simple, and I'm surprised that only Bobby would be able to answer them. For some context, Bobby is out on leave right now, and what I think this highlights is serious key person dependency. If Bobby were to win the lottery and fly off to Hawaii, I would be very happy for her, but I would also be under the impression that our city finances couldn't continue in her absence. And knowing that there was a very difficult transition when our last finance director left, and that we can't even answer questions like, why did the inspections more than double, or did that go to safe built? Was it additional staffing? Was it a contract amendment? Why these questions can't be answered, makes me nervous. So, I don't like to vote on things that I can't question. Inspections are up $241,000. We started at $210. Now we're at $451. And with the questions we've had about safe built lately, I would really like to know how much more is going to safe built. I see there's some chatter here. If Leslie can answer these questions, Joe, why didn't you ask her to do so when I sent them to you yesterday?
I just didn't have time. we got the questions at 7 last night, so I got them this morning, and then covering also like Bobby's stuff as well when she's off, so I didn't have time, but I have most of it, I tried to prep as much as possible, but.
Okay, it would have been nice to have that update when we emailed back and forth at 5 o'clock today.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna put her on the spot, but I know she likes to be accurate, we want to be accurate for you, and I would prefer to have time to review the information, but if you wanna shoot, just do it.
Thank you, I'd love to hear whatever you got, thank you.
Okay, so we estimate our permits every year, and we adjust as the year goes, but really, all that adjustment hits at this time, because their permits are generally spring.
Right.
For the most part, spring, summer, but usually that second half, so March, we start seeing an uptick in permits, and that's when we normally do this adjustment. Without going a ton into it, it is safe bill, that the spending is for. We've spent, so far, we still have one more payment to go for June, $394,605 is what we spent to safe bill. So, just having that, we estimate the $451,000 that our next invoice is going to be, but it depends on what building inspections come in, so that includes building, zoning, electrical, all those different pieces together. We just trying to look at it, not having a ton of time, like, because we'd be happy to come back, study it, and then give you a more accurate answer than this, but, what I would just generally say is this year between the tornado and, we had the development over in the Villages development where we had 37 new homes. That's probably most of it. The year we had Techmoto built, we had an increase in permits that year too. So if we have it's residential, but you know, a big commercial development, we'll have more permits.
Do you have just a gut feeling on how much this is tornado related?
I don't. I know that we paid like $11,000 to have them go out and do the assessment that weekend, like on a whim. That was above and beyond, but I know people have been working on repairing their stuff and they're having permits for that. So.
Okay, thank you for that information.
Yeah.
Did you discover anything on the cemetery?
Yep, I have the breakdown. Amy's here to help too, but the breakdown for the $203,000 is $43,941 was stump removal. $155,975 was tree removal, and then $3,288 was general supplies.
Light poles.
Okay, yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
Light poles.
So most of that was tornado related?
Yes. And then, there's, in the parks, there was $77,000 in stump removal in the parks, which was tornado related. And then there's a little bit of adjustment for salary, which was for the tornado because we had staff time above and beyond in the parks.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and then the other part was, it was already commission approved, but the $26,554 for the conservation park shelter. So that one's good. For the other parts I will say, like, I looked at, the budget amendment, and it does line it out better than it ever has in the past.
Absolutely.
But,
absolutely.
and I could tie it out based on line item number and see, because I'm familiar with, 751 parks, stuff like that, where you could tie all those pieces together and get back to those overall numbers, so.
Okay. Thank you, I appreciate you working on that.
Yeah.
Joe, in the future, if you have staff working on something and you just don't know if they're gonna be done, please just let me know that. Say, hey, we're working on it, we might have something for you tonight.
Yeah, and I appreciate papers as well.
Sure.
I mean, we'll get you information, we always try.
Right, it's just if I have to vote on something, I like to have my info first. So, thank you, Leslie, for pulling that together, and thank you, Amy, for assisting, I appreciate it, thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, all right, all in favor of approving the budget amendment number 4, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, next up, make sure I didn't miss anything here, is our media access policy. So this was requested a couple meetings ago, and this is the policy to allow the media to tap into our audio. Any questions or comments from the public? All right, Hearing none?
Yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't think you were looking up, I'm sorry, guys.
You're good.
I turned away just as you got up. Absolutely, welcome, come on up.
You're good. So just starting off, I don't want this to come across like I'm not grateful for this. Appreciate you guys doing this. Getting the policy adopted, listening to what I had to say at the last meeting. I appreciate that and I look forward to being able to utilize it. However, you guys are on a very small list of cities around here who don't live stream. And we do, and I know this might sound redundant because I talked about this last meeting, but it's a small list. And I think that is the simplest step to showing your constituents that you care about transparency at all. Because, like I said, it's a small list, and at any point in time, any of you guys can direct the city staff to pursue that, or to see what that looks like, because it's often the excuse that it's too expensive, it's gonna take too many resources, but that's never been pursued, and that's never been even considered. So maybe if you put that forward, looked into it, it's gonna be tens of thousands of dollars, okay, I hear that. But that's never happened, and so hearing that excuse to me just sounds like you don't wanna deal with it. And as I said, I'm not gonna be here forever. Watershed Voice, hopefully will be here forever, but we don't want to have that sole responsibility. And we're very happy to do it, and listen, it brings us people to our Facebook page, you know, we're getting something out of it. And so like, we're very happy to do it, I just would really like to urge you guys to do it yourselves, because it really means a lot to the people that you represent that can't come here, that whether it's physical or they don't have the time, not everybody can be here, not everybody wants to be here. Some people just want to watch part of the live, just hear some things going on, and I think it shows a fundamental lack of caring about transparency to not at least try that. And so like I said, I'm very grateful for this. We're going to utilize it and hopefully provide a great live stream, but I just wanted to urge you guys to consider that. You could do it tonight. So thank you.
Thank you, Max, I appreciate it.
I feel as another fellow member of the BDA, I should comment on this as well. I do echo a lot of the comments that Mr. Nauer made today on live streaming and all that good stuff. I remember, you know, when I was very much younger, there used to be a camera right up there broadcasting it on a public access channel that was only available over antenna, if I recall correctly on that. So I remember that specifically, and I know it can be done. So and I know that during COVID, we did have a lot of live streaming as well, and that was pretty convenient for a lot of people, myself included, to be able to cover the meetings accurately and efficiently. I could leave like a recorder at my computer and then go to another meeting and then just, you know, have two birds at the same time, you know, so. I will echo what Mr. Nauer said, and I highly encourage you guys, while this is a good first step, I do highly encourage the city to look into live streaming, and I know that the county has also had some discussions, and they've also given the excuse of too expensive and all that. And obviously, you know, this could come up around budget time as well, so it's something that could also be considered down the line, so. Just want to give my 2 cents as a member of the meeting as well. Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Oh, you have another comment coming up? Take your time. Oh, I'm sorry, not coming up. My mistake. I'm not gonna take that as a statement for sure. All right, so, do we have a motion to approve yet? I don't.
So moved.
Okay. All right. Who has some questions about it?
Well, I have some comments. I remember when the camera was up there. I'm that old. And I'll tell you, because of this building, it was not an easy job, and it was not always good. there's something about this building that whenever they've tried to do anything live, am I wrong, Joe? It's like it would work, but then all of a sudden, no, it didn't work, or we couldn't do it.
We had the same sound problems and
And
tried
it's just,
different microphones and
it's
different.
something with this building, I mean, even now, you can't use your phone in certain places here. The internet's, I don't know, I guess because it's old and it's built secure. But I know Comcast was the ones that did the TV broadcast. And there was always, you could hear it, but you couldn't see it, or you could see it, you couldn't hear it, or it come off and on. I mean, it was just lots. I think even putting a lot of money into it isn't gonna make a difference while we're in this building.
Commissioner Perry?
I believe the key word here is try. Let's just try and see if we can offer this to our,
I agree. Commissioner Allen?
Yeah, I'm all for it, we can do it ourselves. Give him the responsibility, Max. I don't think that's a very good going forward, just be relying on you, man, no offense.
Right,
But you don't work for us,
right,
you're doing this out of courtesy.
absolutely. Commissioner Brown? Nothing? Okay. So I actually work in AV, so I know how easy it is. We do municipalities all the time. My company isn't here, we're in Maine, so I can't recommend them, and I probably wouldn't because I work there. But there are companies here in Michigan that literally specialize in this. It's not difficult, the technology is there, it doesn't matter what building it is, all we have to do is do it. And I'm super grateful, Max, to you and to Watershed, and I completely see your point, like, we're happy to do it, but, you know, we're grateful for the opportunity, but that's all 100% valid. And I thought we had asked TJ to find out what Sturgis is doing. Did you come up with anything?
No, I had talked to them and I had actually passed along 10 roads information, which is our county, or our treasurer who runs it.
Okay.
They have a program that they're already equipped with AV, already hardwired in, so some of it, it's a camera.
Yeah.
Looks like that, but it's
Yeah.
back there and it shines, or goes down there. Sometimes the audio is good, sometimes the audio is bad.
Well, I sent pictures of our audio, just what's up there by Taylor, to my boss, who's been doing this since, I believe, 1993, and he was surprised with the quality of our system. He was like, wow, that's actually pretty good. I expected it not to be so robust.
We tried.
So half the problem is solved already. We basically need a couple of cameras. I highly suggest that,
Well, I
that we take
think
a look.
one of the things too that we have to figure out is, what platform does the commission would it want to live stream on? Is it looking at Facebook? Is it looking at your YouTube channel? I mean, those are the developments that I think.
Those are very simple, and we could all hash that out in 10 minutes. So I think the tech is the quote-unquote hard part. The hard things that we need to actually physically take care of, the rest is a conversation that it seems like we all want to have, correct? We want this to happen, right? It seems that way. And people aren't, it doesn't seem like board members are against it.
I'm not against it at all. I think we should give it a try. I mean, we've been talking about it for years. Let's do it if we can.
Right.
At least try.
I think our constituents deserve it.
But as our attorney was saying, who is gonna view this? I'm not a big fan of Facebook. I'm not trying to be sitting on Facebook every day.
Sure.
I appreciate our professionals that come here from the news media, and I really value what you guys said today. Bring things up to date.
I would personally want to see it on YouTube. That it's just more accessible. You don't need a special account. You don't need to do anything. And you're right. You make a good point. Not everybody wants to be on Facebook, but those are conversations we can have once we know what the text is going to look like. I think, and that would be very, very easy. I think. Do you agree that should be a very simple conversation? Probably.
I think, yeah.
Okay. I don't think we're going to have any argument about that. So, do we have consensus to? Oh, and I'm so sorry. There was a gentleman who wanted to speak. You don't anymore.
I mean, you covered a little bit of what I was gonna say.
Okay.
I was just giving a younger person's perspective to social media. Like as far as the YouTube portion of it, YouTube is gonna be your main outlet because it can be linked out to other sources.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
put it on YouTube, everybody will see the live stream.
Absolutely.
And as far as like the internet goes with the building, with the way we have advancements today, as far as like fiber internet and that, the problems that we had before are no longer in this day and age. And it's on the end of where I keep hearing people throw out the word of how much it costs and everything. Y'all spend a lot of money on stump removal, so I feel like the transparency to the people is a little kind of important.
Good point, good point. Could you tell us your name and address just for the record, even though we're doing this out of order? I appreciate it.
My name is Michael Phelps and I live at 410 9th Street.
Thank you. I appreciate you speaking up. Okay, do we have consensus to, I'm sorry, do you have something else?
Yes, no, I'm just saying let's go with it, let's see what company can give us.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm okay for that.
Okay, there's one company in Kalamazoo I know that does AV, it's, Boudet, B-U-D-A-Y.
What was that?
Boudet, B-U-D-A-Y, Ed Boudet is the owner, and, you might be very happy to hear.
I can also,
Yes.
we have a member of our board who works in, what is it? Like his company installs audio equipment for municipalities. So I can give you his contact information and he can, either use his company or recommend you guys a company and stuff.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, we should get a few estimates.
yeah.
You know, just see what we. All right, so we have consensus to direct Joe to do these things, to gather some estimates, and that's all we need to do, right?
Yep.
All right, fantastic, wonderful. All right, so we do have a motion on the floor, right?
Yes, so the motion that was in the packet was just to review the policy?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's what
that's where
we're
you're
at.
voting, okay.
So we made the recommendation outside of the fact that we need to, work on this policy, okay? But we do have a motion on the floor, correct?
That, yep, to review the
Okay,
policy.
fantastic. And we did already ask the public?
Could-
We did? Oh.
Could you clarify the recommendation?
The recommendation is to approve the media access policy. That's in
The recommendation, did you make a recommendation
I'm
to
sorry.
Joe?
The recommendation is for Joe to price out, to get a couple of estimates. I think 2 or 3 would be good, 3 maybe? 3 estimates, for this, and to bring that back to us as soon as possible, and then put it on the agenda so that we can officially discuss and make your decision.
Yes.
So that's it? Okay. All right, okay, so back to the actual motion, that is just to adopt the media access policy. And we got public input, is there any question from the board? Okay. We might have this policy for a little while until we get the rest of these ducks in a row, so I wanna make sure it's really robust. One of the things in there, it said something about, it was just the city can make decisions, not the city commission. I don't want this to be in the hands, and also that a tech could make decisions. I really would rather see that be the city commission, rather than just the city. The city is very broad. Otherwise, I really like it. I mean, it covers all the standard kind of things. We're not gonna fix it, we're not gonna help you with it, you know, we're not gonna do anything special. There's multiple requests, first come, first serve. If you guys have a splitter, that's on you. Limitations, technical requirements, you know, it's well put together. But, as for who can stop it, I would like to see it be the commission. That if we're gonna tell somebody no, that is the commission vote to stop it. So we would have to basically open the meeting. The city is just too vague. How does everybody feel about that?
I'm trying to follow what we're looking at here. Are you talking paragraph number 4 on technical requirements?
Yes, exactly there. So I'll read it out. City staff shall have final authority regarding all connections to city equipment. That's very vague.
I think it's about connections too, so what they're hooking into, what devices they're hooking into to ensure. I don't think they're saying you can, they're saying that device is inapplicable because of whatever technical reason. I don't think that's saying you outlet aren't allowed to hook up. You can't use that device because of whatever technical difficulty may be caused. I would discourage usurping the power of city staff regarding technical maintenance and upkeep of equipment to the vote of the commission. Because then you're.
Not technical maintenance, but deciding who can connect.
They're not, they're just saying devices that cannot connect. So that would be like people utilizing other equipment in the city. The city staff has the ability to say, you can't operate that, you can operate, but not that piece of equipment that causes damage. Is what that is saying. So they're not, you're correct, you can't we cannot, as a city, get pulled. If we create this policy, first one, first served, as long as it meets all the criteria and it's not damaging or doesn't otherwise interfere,
Okay.
we are creating an open pathway for them to utilize it.
Okay.
And we cannot discriminate or prohibit it.
Who would be the designated meeting technician or staff representative? Would that be Taylor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or other IT.
Yeah, sometimes they get up there.
Okay, all right. I'm comfortable with Taylor being in charge of this. Okay, all right, any other questions? All right, we already have a motion. John, do you have something? Oh, okay. All right, all in favor of approving the media access policy as presented, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, the media access policy is adopted, and that's,
It's effective immediately, just so you know, this isn't an ordinance, this is more just a policy, so at the next meeting,
all right.
I guess Max and, whoever else can race to the, policy is the program first.
Sounds
All
good.
his.
All right, thank you. I'm glad to see that pass. That's a good stopgap measure, you know, until we can move on to something else.
Do you have what you need for the next now?
Um,
Same for the next meeting?
I think so, but so can I come in here and like try it out whenever, even though it's not a meeting?
During business day.
What?
Yeah, during business hours.
That's what
Okay.
I'm leading to.
Okay, so I can do that whenever I want during business hours? Then yeah, I'll be good.
I was trying to get
Yeah,
that dry run.
Yeah, thank you.
And if you want any help, like the night of, you can always here.
Hey, you can come talk in the mic and I'll.
Yeah, exactly. Shoot me a text. We're cool.
And there are other meetings that are held as soon as you wanna make sure.
Okay,
Yeah, just let me.
Cool.
email them.
thank you guys.
Excellent. All right, well, I'm glad to see that. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, next up is the, yeah, I'm sorry. How are we doing weather-wise? Gentlemen, we're okay? Ooh, man, my dog's at home. I don't know.
Pretty good hail over in there, miles right now.
All right. All right. We'll move along as long as we can. This is wastewater treatment plant chemicals for fiscal year 27-28. We opened bids for them on June 4th, with the low bidders being Alexander Chemicals for both chlorine and sulfur dioxide. Neuro Water Solutions for ferric, chloride, and polybean for dewatering polymers. And thank you, Taylor, you taught me a little bit about dewatering polymers when I was on site. It was very exciting. And you're looking for us to approve, let's see, to authorize the purchase of 80,000 of chlorine and sulfur dioxide, and 130 for the dewatering polymers and polybean, and 100,000 for the ferric chloride. Do you have anything to add before we get going? Okay. Any comments about our water chemicals this time? This is wastewater, not drinking water. So this is the out, not the in. All right. Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion.
Support.
Okay. Any questions?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
The same one, like for the water, have the numbers changed, are we getting more of those chemicals?
So for wastewater, that's all dependent on like ionizing filtration, so like when it's wet weather, more leaks in through the collection system, which comes through me, which causes more chemicals. Technically, we should use less since we lost the village casting flow, but I also have a lot of I&I right now, so, yes, it should be less, but I can't guarantee that. Total should be down. Total should be down. I mean, we're down from what we were last year. I don't know exact numbers. I just look at day-to-day gallons or pounds that are used for chlorine.
Taylor has quite the lab over there, and you test all kinds of stuff. It was so fun to go and see it. I totally geeked out. Oh, I'm getting a message from my friend about the weather. Here we go again. That's unsettling.
Just issue a thunderstorm warning.
Yeah, she's, okay. And that's NWS, National Weather Service? Okay. Taylor, I trust you implicitly on this water, and the bids were weird. I'll be honest, they were weird. I tried to, first of all, they're sideways, and then there's different gallons and things, and in light of the tornado, I'm just gonna say, Taylor, I trust you, which I do trust you no matter what, but especially with the tornado on its way. Yeah, we've got a polygon coming our way. Any other questions? Do you wanna see the weather map?
What's coming our way?
There's a polygon
The
warnings.
Instead of warning, they usually go polygon, that's the way the traffic.
Yeah. all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Taylor's proposal for water chemicals, passes, it carries.
Do we have a weather warning right now?
This is what we have.
I really just want to know if we have
Yes.
a warning.
Yes.
A
But
thunderstorm warning.
Is it thunderstorm?
Severe thunderstorm.
Yeah.
Warning.
Thank you, that's all I.
Does that help you see a little better?
I can see that.
Okay, do you want to pass it along?
Sorry.
All right, I mean, it's.
I just got my question answered.
All right. Okay, let's see. Crap, the next one needs some discussion, darn it. All right, so the next one up is,
Catch your breath.
yeah, it's the, my dog's at home.
Okay, I know, this
My
is.
dog's at home.
I have 2 dogs at home.
We just saw.
I have
that.
30, okay?
Oh
Keep
my
that.
goodness.
All right, so next up, we need to discuss whether or not we're going to add the amphitheater to the social district.
That's an easy yes.
So,
So, it's an easy vote.
is it though, because it does open up a couple other things, that I don't think we've necessarily thought about. So, right now, as it stands, there's no time restriction on when somebody can be in the amphitheater. So it makes it a little bit more difficult to police. Yes.
Well,
It's not a park.
All our parks have.
It's not a park.
it's not a park.
So it's just a public area.
If it's a social district, it can only be from 11 AM to 11 PM.
People can only be in it from 11 to 11?
Well, I mean, with alcohol, anyway.
Right, but it doesn't, would that prevent us from turning it into a park? Because
I don't
we've
know.
already started to have some issues over there.
Such as.
Somebody trying to live in a bathroom.
Oh, yeah, that's grudgy.
Somebody left the door unlocked, but we got
Yeah.
it unlocked.
I think it was some, like, maybe the irrigation.
So if there's someone over there, do you know,
Go ahead.
if there's someone over there laying on the ground, do the police go over there and say, okay, get up, keep it moving? Or they can just be there?
Well, you can sleep in the, well, it's not a park, but I mean, like, if you want to take a nap somewhere, you can, technically, I mean, I don't know,
Would
this is
you like
not
to-
like
to
jurisdiction.
Speak on this?
Well, to answer Commissioner McNary is, they can't sleep.
You can, at any time of day or night.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh, well,
I
then,
know.
yeah, we can make some changes.
we need to make some, I
Well,
agree,
that's different
it's a
than
discussion.
We're talking about just drinking alcohol, that's all this is.
Right, but if we make this decision, what other decisions might that prevent us from making?
Well,
It shouldn't affect us.
People are gonna be there whether we do anything or not, unless we set a certain policy or restriction on what time they can be there.
Right,
So,
so if we have,
this is just for alcohol.
okay, but if we were to turn this into, do we, TJ,
Yes,
do
ma'am.
we have the option to set aside a certain part of the city, such as the amphitheater area, and put hours on it? Or if it's public spot, it's public spot, period?
Well, you can regulate it with hours of operation, like you do other areas of town, for sure, the city certainly can.
Okay,
That'd be something that, you know, ask for some input on the city police department, other departments, and what they see.
okay,
But yeah, you have that right, just because it's city property doesn't mean people have 24 unfettered access, hours unfettered access.
okay,
And while people maybe will take a nap there, there's a prohibition against camping, in the city, so that would, you know, stop that unless it's a special event down there that the city gave a permit to, so.
okay.
And isn't this just for having alcohol served during an event that's on there?
No,
No,
this is alcohol anytime.
So they
11 to
would,
11.
they can only purchase alcohol from participating businesses in the social district, which right now are only the Riviera, Useless Creatures,
Main Street.
and Main Street Cafe.
And you can't bring your own alcohol.
No.
Right.
So
Then that's a setup for people, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, that's a setup. The people are gonna bring their own drinks, and they're gonna be out there on that nice lawn drinking, and having fun, listening to the music. And if we say it's against the law, then you just make it more, work for the police, you know, put more, right?
But it's already against the law. You can't walk
Yeah.
down Main Street with your own alcohol. It will
But
always be
if
different.
we say you can drink out there, then we're opening that up even more.
Well,
That's
you
what I
said you
mean.
can drink in Main Street. It
Not
will be
Main
no
Street and
different.
drink. I mean, you
You
can
can
walk
walk
Main
down
Street
Main
and
Street,
drink,
but
if
we
you get your
have that
drink from
social-
the,
I'm just saying, you're opening up, it's a setup, yeah.
You actually just brought up a good point that I visualize differently, and I'm glad that you clarified it for me, because I was thinking of bringing my own bottle of wine. So, and I guess I know how the social district works, it just didn't occur to me. So I imagine there will be other good faith people who are gonna walk in with their six pack or walk in with their bottle of wine, not having any idea that they're doing something wrong. So, that's part one.
We have to have
It is
sign.
on the sign. Sign that posted states that alcohol
It's prohibited.
has to be purchased from one of the.
Or, yeah.
In a specific cup that
Yeah.
Like, we don't get it a brown bag from there. You get-
I can see it working with hours. Like,
Yeah, me too.
Commissioner,
Hold on.
I'm gonna suggest just for safety that we, adjourn for now, go in the basement, unofficial report of some rotation nearby.
Goodbye, thank you. We are temporarily. All right, everybody, well, let's move back to order. And resume discussion of adding the amphitheater area to the downtown, or I'm sorry, the, social district. So, to recap, let's see, yes, it sounds like a great idea, there's some complications we might wanna discuss. Okay. Chief, I'd love for you to join this conversation. I wanna make sure that that we're not doing anything that makes the area extra difficult to police, or that we're putting any barriers in front of your department in terms of, and also, while we're on the subject, is there anything you'd like to see different, just compared to how it is now?
Okay, that, I will say that there are going to be some incidents with open intox and people
Sure.
bringing it to events and so forth. As it is right now with the social district, that we haven't had problems.
Okay.
However, I think, with this proposal, there has to be an education piece that goes out. If we move forward with this, an education piece go out to the public, a reoccurring piece for, as we go into the festivals and so forth,
Right.
that we educate people that, hey, it is a social district, however, you can't, do this. And like I said,
It's not.
I think it's something that we can work with. As for, leading to other problems, I think that, we can definitely look at in the parks and, the parks ordinance. There are some steps that we can take, for city properties to regulate, like, TJ said, and, we can look at moving forward on that also.
Okay, sounds good. Also, I know there's concern, regarding the pass-throughs, East Alley and the Mural Mall. Not in terms necessarily just of the social district, but of not having a time, limitation on when people can be there. And
And that is, if we went through the amphitheater and that would all be included in that, so.
Okay, wonderful. And I'm curious, how did the two attach? Is it just that you can just walk through that parking lot, or?
Can you put my beautiful map?
So you have to go,
You would have, I didn't think it would be good to include the parking lot.
right?
So it already, the sidewalk, which is the yellow area,
Okay.
more orangey yellow area.
Yep.
Right now is the social district, all that is. So I used, the existing sidewalks to.
Is there a sidewalk across there?
There
Okay,
is
I
a
see.
walkway, but there's a sidewalk that goes, we'd have to like
Park it.
paint, with paint, cause we can't put a sign in the middle of the parking lot. Not that it's in the middle, but.
Yeah. Okay, but you'll have it pretty clearly marked off somehow.
Yeah.
Easy way.
Yep,
All
and we'll
right.
have to get, more signage for the amphitheater that says this is social district, no outside alcohol, from 1 PM to 11 PM.
Okay. And this, let's be clear, it's for any time. Again, it's not just for
Yeah.
specific events.
Right,
Okay, just anytime that the current bars that are approved are open, right?
yes.
Okay.
They're part of the social district, and they have to have that Main Street Commons on the cup, it's a specific cup,
Okay.
so.
Okay. Chief, how do you feel about that setup?
Like I said, I think that we can work with it, and, you know, realistically, if it doesn't work, we could bring it back to the commission and, you can vote on it then, if I come back and say, hey, this is getting out of control.
Okay. We need some help. Okay. So I don't wanna overburden your department. You guys have enough to do as it is. But I do see like, you know, as you said, Commissioner Allen, like this seems like a slam dunk. Like, of course we want this, but we need to just make sure we do it right.
And I have to say, our last event that we had there, I had to tell people, you cannot have alcohol here, and it got, people were bringing it down, they had their outside stuff,
Right.
just a couple people, but.
Honestly, like I said though, if I wasn't sitting right here, I might have been one of those people someday, just unknowingly, like,
Yeah.
oh, I see people are drinking, I can bring a bottle of wine.
Yeah,
So, we definitely need to do that education piece.
yeah,
Who's gonna be in charge of that?
I think that would be, as it is now.
I mean, right now it's signs, if we include this whole area, and we need to corral people through just 2 little areas, you know, and I think it's the mentality, like, I would not bring a bottle of wine down Main Street. That would
Right.
never occur to me. A concert in the park, I would think I could, so, and I think I'm pretty average, and I'm not like a drunk. So, I think I sort of represent the average Joe here in that we will have to educate people to make sure that they know, hey, you actually can't do that, you gotta buy it from here. And when people say, well, that's crazy, why do I have to buy it from here? We have to have the answer that because there's a bartender who is trained to make sure nobody gets overserved.
Yes.
That's the reason. That's why you can't just bring your own, because people overserve themselves and bartenders are trained not to. So that should be part of the education piece to just begin with that, so. All right, so Angie, you're basically in charge of the education. Chief, do you want input on that? No? No?
Good,
Okay.
like I said,
I
that's,
think that should be quite a few concerts, and no concert that I've ever been to allowed open outside alcohol.
Okay.
So I don't think that the normal lay person would think I can bring my own alcohol to a concert. Have you ever been to a concert where you can bring your own alcohol?
I mean, illegally.
So, it must have been legal because nobody stopped me. You know, I mean, anybody can dose their cup, right? Like, we're not
Yeah.
talking about that. Just, I mean, I'm okay with voting on this, Chief, as long as you're okay with us voting yes on this.
I think moving forward, if we include an education piece, I think that's, what I'm really looking at is, it may help vitalize downtown and
Absolutely.
events.
Yeah.
And I would be hesitant of restricting it in that thing.
Okay.
Like I said, I always had the opportunity to approach the commission, through Joe and say that, hey, these are some concerns.
Okay, all right, if you're good, I'm good. Okay, I'm sorry, we've had a tornado journal in between, we do have a motion. We do not, okay. Did we get input from the public? Okay, did we get input from the public? I think everybody's gone pretty much that would talk about it, but, okay, just making sure I'm checking the boxes here.
Just, there is the ability to, under the act, it allows for management and maintenance of plans, including hours of operation for the common areas. You could create a restriction that it's only available during events. So you don't have people down there, unless there's an event, they can't walk and.
Yeah.
So again, it's up, the commission has a lot of discretion as time goes on to adapt to the problems that it has.
Perfect.
So even the corridors, for instance, they can you can just walk down through the parking lot if there's an event going on.
Right.
But that's gonna, I think the city has the ability to pivot and adapt as time goes on to see where
Okay.
restrictions are needed, just so everybody is aware of where you're at on that, so you do have a little bit more authority and discretion because it is a common area and not the actual premise.
Okay, just as long as we're not doing anything irreversible or preventing ourselves from putting some hours on that area to begin with and potentially the walkthroughs as well, regardless of this. You know, this is just kind of a good time to bring it up, so. All right, any other comments here?
Do we want our motion then to say just during events?
I think that we should wait and see how.
I think it should be all of it,
Yeah.
all the time.
For now, as long as the chief's comfortable, I'm comfortable too. And then if we need to revisit it, we need to revisit it, but for
Yeah.
now, why not? Because we also don't wanna stop people who are just casually strolling around with their cocktail from going down there and seeing how cool the amphitheater is, you know? Just on a Tuesday night, so.
Yeah, I
Yes.
have another comment. That area, even though, the map shows the amphitheater, but really there is a lot of space in between the door of where you buy your alcohol and by the time you get to the amphitheater. When the social area downtown is more enclosed, you have the buildings that keep people together. In this instance, there's nothing to keep people together. There's that big parking lot in between. People live in those buildings. You got, it's a wide space. I want us to be able to go down and have fun with a drink at the amphitheater. All you have to do is buy a cup that says this cup is okay and keep filling it up all night. Or let your friend get a cup and fill it up all night. It's just too much going, it's just too much room to supervise. We're talking about grown-ups and, people that stray in. I just, as much as I would love to see that happen, I would only support it with restrictions going forward, period. And all day in the park drinking, restrictions. Like TJ said, if we're gonna do this, then you can only have open intox during events in those areas, not to interrupt the social climate that you have already. But when you have events, then open up those other avenues.
Maybe the good way to start is to start with just events and expand as long as things go well.
See now, okay, that's a better way to look at it than to leave it open and then try to close it.
I'm kind of nervous about that, so I like what you have to say there.
Just my thought.
Yeah,
I've been around a block or two, and you guys know how people react. You know what our city is like, and give me enough alcohol, you'll see. You'll see a whole other Carolyn. So I'm still happy.
The opposite side to that coin, though, Carolyn, is, can you bring that map back up, if it's possible?
Or could we also adjust where to go?
Behind where those buildings are, you can drink,
Yeah.
you can still drink behind those buildings.
But right next to the current social district.
Oh, that sidewalk there, like beyond the road.
That is still part of the current social district.
Okay.
So the people who are going to do the stuff that you're talking about are already doing the stuff that you're talking about. So we're punished, so it's making the time constraints on just that area isn't gonna prevent what you're saying from happening.
Well, that's the only way I'm gonna support it.
Right, I'm with you, Carolyn.
That's how
Well, they're not gonna be able to go down that path with their drink. They're
It's
not gonna
already,
be able to leave that sidewalk
there you go.
with that drink.
Unless there's an event.
Yeah, unless there's an event going on, so that means, yeah. To me, that makes sense.
Yeah, and if the social climate already allows people to do what they're doing, then they'll keep doing it. Let them do what they're doing. But to open it up for often.
Any time of the
So-
day, any day of the week.
Well, 11 to 11, but 7 days, yeah. 7 days, right, yeah.
I think it's too much. I mean, I think just events, when there's something special going on.
So how do we put that in the words, so we
Well-
can do that?
Who made the motion?
You already have the motion for not
Full of
event
it.
based. So you have to.
And who made the motion? Lucas. Okay, so we have a couple of options. Luke, you could agree to amend your motion, or we can vote on it. It looks
can
like
agree
that.
with events, I mean, I think it should only be with,
Okay,
with
so,
events.
Luke, it looks like your motion would probably fail. I mean, I'm taking just the temperature here. We could do that and then take another, somebody could offer another motion. You could amend yours, those are pretty much our options right now. Or we could just take a vote as it is and just see what happens, but,
State vote,
okay.
fail it.
All right, so can we state the motion? The motion is just to approve as presented. 11, to approve as presented. Okay, all in favor of approving as presented, 11 to 11, 7 days a week, as is, say aye.
Aye.
Hold on.
What I was gonna say is, this is just to create the district, the rules are kind of a separate part, so you have to have this established, and then you create the maintenance and the plan around it. You're free to do what you're doing, Madam Mayor, and you
Then let's
create
just do it this way.
with the district, but now you're gonna have to come back.
Yep.
Because this gets sent to the state, so if you wanna pivot and change what you're doing,
Yeah.
it becomes a much more involved process to say, let's open it up and not be restrictive. So as opposed to utilizing the tool which is at hand, which we have under the maintenance and the agreement for open areas, which you can set the regulation. If you put this in the resolution, send it to the state, this is our resolution creating expansion, now you kind of put it a little bit more etched in stone, and it's a little bit more difficult for the commission to go back. Whereas if you create this and then come back and put the restrictions on through the tools you already have, it might make it a little bit more flexible for the city as it moves forward on when and how it wants to regulate these areas. If that makes sense?
Okay, it does. So then I think we need to flip what we're doing here and determine what the rules are gonna be. For just what our city rules that don't have to go to the state are going to be. And then we determine, under these conditions, do we include the amphitheater in the social district?
Correct, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Or we set the rules first, if they have to be separate legally, we set the rules first. We agree on all of that, and then we decide whether or not, and that meets the criteria where we don't have to go back to the state to change our minds, correct?
But you wanna send to the state
I'm confused.
that we're doing all of this.
So, well.
You just
so
wanna send to the
our
state that we
Our
want it.
local, so under the act, under social districts, the city has the management maintenance plans that we have, which is a little separate, that's what creates the 11 to 11. And in the common areas, that's what allows us to regulate time in those areas. This resolution, as it's brought forth by the D, is basically just saying, we wanna include this in the area of common areas, and it can be regulated under our plans. What we wanna do, if you wanna change and put it only for the purpose of that, you'd be actually modifying the plan, the maintenance in the plan, not the district.
Okay, so can we, because what I don't wanna see happen is, we go ahead and approve this as is, and then it just starts happening before we have a chance to say, hey, wait a minute, this is just events. I wanna protect these decisions that it seems
Sure.
like the majority of us wanna make here.
You have the ability to pre-approve and say, okay, here's what the rules are gonna be. Everybody agrees that if the district passes, these will be the rules. I mean, it's a little bit cart before the horse. However, I understand where you're coming
I
from.
don't want the horse to run away.
There you go. I get where you're coming from, I understand.
Okay.
And so, yeah, that would be something to do. Again, I don't have the plan in front of me, I don't have the current plan. It's out there, I know, because that's what sets the 11 to 11. It has to be out there. And so you'd be amending that once this district comes into place. You have a draft of what the plan would look like with the common area of the amphitheater and the corridors, and when those areas of operation would be restricted or not restricted.
Okay.
And then that would come into effect when you expanded the district.
Okay, so it's very confusing, but I think I got what we're doing here. Tell me if I'm saying this in just not legal. If we were to go ahead and approve this tonight, it's gotta go to the state first anyway, like it.
They will get the resolution, and
Yeah.
so yes, they will get it, but I would just hesitate to put in our resolution
Right.
any restrictions.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
so this will go to the state.
So it's not ready yet. When will the state say, okay, you have the stamp?
I mean, not long, Leslie, do you have a feel?
Couple weeks maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't we bring this back?
My thing,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
if you're trying to stop people from illegally bringing their own alcohol or to this place, or just living it to just events. Even on events, people are still gonna bring their own alcohol. I mean, they're going to do that. So why limit this at all to start off? Do like the chief said, let's work with it, and then we come back and limit it.
Well,
Restrict
because
it.
the reason I would disagree with that is, I see the validity in that, like, let's just see how it goes. But it's a lot harder to put a genie back in a bottle. Because the good people that didn't cause any problems be like, what the heck, I used to be able to last summer and now I can't. And then we're gonna have to re-educate, like, oh, we had this incident and that incident and whatever things caused us to have to change it. I like the idea of just putting a pin in this for right now, coming back with the plans that we've discussed, and doing this as back-to-back motions. How do you feel about that?
I just know that with the events coming up, people are gonna be down there with drinks. But
Well, then we let them know that it's not time yet.
Now, my question is, if we have had, my concern is passing restrictions on this will put restrictions on the entire social district.
No.
Just, so under, that would be, we would review the management and maintenance plan. And you would call out the area here, just like you're calling out the expansion to the amphitheater area in the corridors. If that's what you wanna do.
So we've established the area that we want.
Right.
That's, on that map is done. That's all we need to, that's not gonna change. You're gonna come back later and make rules about how we wanna do that.
That's what I'm, I don't think you guys understand what I'm trying to say. Let me just try
Yeah, go for
to
it.
say it a different way. This is just adding that to the social district.
Right.
That's all this is.
Right.
Yep.
So,
You're establishing a district.
we're
area.
establishing, expanding the social district. So, if we make limitations on this expansion, could those expansion tie to the entire social district?
No.
Because I'm asking the way.
Only if you wanted them to, only if you explicitly said, I mean, that's why when you amended the plan, you would have to talk specifics, so as to the amphitheater as expanded on such and such dates, you would identify when this area, these restrictions would apply, whatever restrictions you want. So if it's gonna be the alcohol, it'll be open to the youth consumption and carry of open alcohol purchase within the district, only an hour prior to and after an event, or whatever you guys come up with, that would apply to that district.
That part of it is.
That part of the district, the rest of the district would get the same rules that it is now.
So, I'm just trying to get an understanding of what you were saying. So we add this to the social district. And we add it just as is. You're saying that it's gonna take a couple of weeks for the state to approve it.
That's an estimate. I mean, Leslie, do you have a better feel on?
I mean, a couple to 3 weeks, right?
It could be longer.
It could be longer.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So, with that being said, how long would it take for us to change our hours of operations? That's in-house, correct?
Yeah, that's a local decision made by the city.
So we could say.
The city commission.
Yes.
So we can adopt this right now, and then make a motion right now to say the amphitheater will only be open during,
Events.
Like I said 10 minutes ago, let's just do it back to back tonight.
So what if somebody rents it out?
that will be an
That would be
event.
an event.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do this tonight, as long as there's no reason not to.
As long as everybody agrees, yeah, I mean, there's.
Yeah. We seem to have some.
They have to be separate motions, but yes, I would not disagree with you, Mayor, you are correct. It's whatever restrictions, and again, the commission can always come back, well, this isn't working with feedback from the police department, and say, we need to pivot, we need to move.
There's one thing I'd like to bring up as a possibility. The 2 yellow sidewalks with the parking in between, that means 2 officers need to patrol it. If we did straight down the middle, would that be easier? would that be less police work necessary and easier to corral?
Because
Because there's,
There isn't a walkway and it's like
A drop off.
Yeah.
It's very dangerous. People carrying
I
alcohol.
scouted it out. Yeah,
Now, if we
Does-
adopt
did
this
you-
tonight, when does it go into effect?
when it comes back from the state.
when you, well,
So it's not gonna be in effect for this weekend, right?
no, no, it's not, it's gonna probably be a problem this weekend, but,
I like your optimism.
it's not gonna be a problem.
There you go.
Yeah, so if you guys approve it, we send it to the state, it's on file with them. I don't think they send anything.
No, it just need to make sure it gets to the state. And
Yeah.
the nice thing about this act is it puts a lot of trust in the local government and the local, use board and advising. And that's why they give you the opportunity on the plan, of what you think is proper hours of operation and restrictions. So, I don't know. I've always wondered how long it takes, because you send it to them and then sometimes
They just have
they put it on file,
Yeah.
but it needs to be registered with them in order to take
Yeah.
a file for it to be a valid social district.
Okay. I think we should just do back to backs, and I think we should set the rules first, and then do the motion to approve the district. That's my personal feeling.
You already have a motion for approving the district, so. And if it fails, you can't bring it up again.
You're right.
So I'll re-amend my motion then, or what?
You can do that. You can
Yeah,
amend your
I'll
motion.
amend the motion that we have restrictions on the amphitheater for events only.
That's the thing that's gonna take the long
So I-
time with the state, that's what we just discussed.
So you could amend it to make it contingent upon the subsequent passing
Thank you.
of that way you don't have to withdraw it. So basically, if you would agree to amend your motion to make it contingent upon the subsequent passing of restrictions to the amphitheater area during events only.
I don't know how you do it, girl, I don't know how you do it.
I'll move back.
Okay, and then we just
And
immediately.
then who made the second originally?
I agree.
Do you agree with
Okay.
that?
All right. Leslie, could you read it for us?
Yeah.
Sorry.
You gotta play Max's video back so she.
Right?
Can't hear it.
Ah, shoot, that's right. Okay, so the way I understand it, the motion is to,
Approve the expansion of the downtown social district and attached resolution to include the downtown outdoor amphitheater located at 11 Joshua Drive and authorize submission of the required documentation to the Michigan Liquor Control Commission for review and approval contingent on subsequent passing of restrictions to the amphitheater.
During hours of.
Being open during events only.
Being open to during events only.
okay, thank you, Leslie, you are fantastic. All right, are we ready to vote? All in favor, say aye. 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 Any opposed?
No.
Okay, so then our restrictions are gonna be, you said no? To your own motion?
Yeah.
Right.
I was nice enough to grant the motion.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I appreciate your, that's good of you, I appreciate both sides of that. Because I see that you made it easy for us to do, and that you technically disagree with how it went, and I respect that. Thank you.
I make a motion to add hours of operations of events only.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. Do we need to continue discussing it, or just actually
Yeah, let's
All right.
stay here.
All right, nothing from the public, right? Anybody? Chief, anything? Okay. All right, okay, we're good. Okay, so we have a motion on the floor we have a motion in a second, to amend the hours to amend the, availability? How are we phrasing this again?
You'd be amending the plan, maintenance operations plan, social district, as to the amphitheater area, effective only during events.
Thank you. Yes.
In the corridors there too.
Yeah, the corridors there too, good call.
Oh, yeah.
When you say the corridors, do you mean the
That's
mall and
corridors.
or, oh, those, the sidewalk
The new pathways.
the new pathways, okay. All right, we have a legitimate motion on the floor, I'm not gonna say that again, I think we all get it. Motion's carried. Thank you, Lucas, I appreciate your work here. Thank you. All right, guys, I think we did a really good job on this. And then, you know, in a year from now, Angie, bring it back.
Yeah.
Chief, bring it back, and let's see what happens for next spring. You know, let's let the summer roll on, and come back to us in like March.
More than likely, we won't have any events during the winter, so.
Right, well, exactly,
But,
so you
yeah.
have time to sort of put it together. All right, okay, the big one is done. All right, so consent agenda. Let's see. What are the new bugs that we hauled from Niles? Does anybody know?
Yeah, they're microorganisms.
They're your bugs,
on
okay, I thought they were your
that.
bugs. Okay, thank you so much. I assumed they were Taylor's. All right, so, I'm sorry, first of all, we need a motion. Okay, any questions? All right, it's always just me. So, looking through these board minutes, I saw a couple of concerning things. One of which is that the cemetery board, which is an advisory board, is talking about selling property to the city / I believe they meant to say AHI, it was exclamation point. Why are 3 people, and there's only 3 people, making a decision to sell land on an advisory board, and why would they sell to the city when the city owns the cemetery?
You know anything about that?
Yeah, the cemetery is actually the deed holder on it.
Okay.
It's the corner lot across from the cemetery,
Okay,
on
Fourth.
Fourth Ave.
okay.
And HI bought the house, or the, vacant land next to it, but they were interested in that as well, but we can't even offer it for sale at the city level until the cemetery deeds it over to us. So that board has to
Okay.
approve it.
So they're not, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not really, and we just have to have that.
Right. I'm like, why are 3 people selling our land off?
Mhm.
Okay, all right, cool. Thank you, Leslie. And then also, in the HDC minutes, I noticed, and then the HDC is the Historic District Commission, is governed by state law. That's not just our charter, that's the state. We have to be in compliance with the state law. They did not have a quorum at the meeting that we have here. And they made a very inconsequential decision about like graphics for a window. But I'm really disappointed that they didn't have a quorum, they didn't know that, and that they proceeded anyway with their meeting and made any decisions. While I think it's a very good group of people right now, that board has been problematic in the past. And I don't want any board making decisions if they don't have a quorum. If we don't have a quorum here, we don't make decisions. So I'm wondering why this wasn't caught, and if you did catch it, have you had a conversation with the
I
chair?
didn't catch it.
Okay. We need to make sure that things are being done right. Angie?
I can, so, why did you not think they had quorum?
Because they had 3 people.
They
had
only
Mike,
have,
Scott, and Rob. It passed 3-0.
they only have 4 people on their board.
They still, and I'll read the state statute here. We have to have 7 people. Let me see. Hold on. It's MCL 399-204. A local unit having a population of 5,000 or more individuals shall consist of not less than 7 nor more than 9 members. So a quorum of 7 is 4. It isn't quorum of how many members there are on the board. As it stands, if they only have 4 members, then it has to pass unanimously every time, or they don't pass. That's how that works. So, just like when we've done other motions here with, people out, we still need 4 people. They still need 4 people.
Cause they only have 4 on the board, or because of the 7.
Yeah.
I don't know, I just.
No, that's valid. Because you think like, well, there's only this many people, so you just need the majority. Not when it's state law. So they need to,
What is that?
MCL, is that
Yeah.
399-204. And you can literally just Google,
Yeah.
it's not our
Okay.
So while I don't really expect them to come back to talk about the Kingbirds window decals, like I said, it's inconsequential, but moving forward, if they're gonna decide on whether or not somebody can have something, that, they just need to have a quorum present to make
Yeah.
decisions.
And nobody will have anything then, because unless they get quorum.
Well, then they need to get quorum, or they need to start working on gathering some people for that board, or if they stop, because that's state law, we don't have the option to make any changes to that.
Okay.
The state took care of that for us. We we have more than 5,000, they need 7, 4 is the minimum. So, that's just how it is.
Okay.
All right, and then last question, is the very last item was removing I think it's a $500 leasing fee from the airport hangar lease. Why did we even have a fee to begin with? $500. Amy, thanks. I'm glad it's coming off, but.
So if you recall, this is a box hangar lease transfer from TR Aero, and they wanted their agreement to mirror their original agreement. And we didn't catch, when you do a new box hanger, there's a $500 fee in there.
For brand new, like not a lease transfer?
Yeah.
Why is there a $500 fee? Is there administrative costs involved?
Yeah. It's basically a guarantee that we're gonna get some sort of money out of it, because we can work quite a ways into a new hangar and then they don't build.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, thank you, I appreciate that. All right, okay, that's all my questions from consent agenda. So, I was just really curious about those bugs, so, but I knew they were takers. All right, we have a motion already. All in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
All right, any opposed? Consent agenda passes. We have no appointments tonight. City manager and commission communications is now, and then we will be going into closed session after that to discuss union negotiations and consider the purchase of real estate. So, who would like to begin with comments? Carol?
Oh, no, we just talked the whole thing tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Yep.
Anybody else? TJ?
I'm all good, thank you.
Sure.
No.
Okay. I don't expect answers to this tonight, but I read about Joey the pony choking for 12 hours. Yeah, Joey, a pony at the zoo, choked for 12 hours because somebody fed him a carrot. I have some questions here about why it took 12 hours. The Facebook post said that it took that long for the vet to get here. I talked to some horse friends and they thought that was extreme, that there were other vets that could have been called. I wanna know, do we have an emergency contract with the vet? What are the parameters? Was the veterinarian contacted immediately? And I can send these to you. What advice did the veterinarian provide? Were there alternatives?
Just send those to me.
Okay, I'm just gonna say them out loud, and then I promise to send them to you. Were alternative veterinarians contacted? Was the pony monitored and cared for while he was waiting? And was the delay unavoidable or simply accepted? That's what I'd like to know, because nobody should choke. I guess ponies don't just, the way the post was written, ponies don't just choke and die, they can choke and then saliva like collects in their bodies, and that can be deadly. We need to take darn good care of our zoo animals, so I will forward those to Joe, and I would appreciate a response, thank you. And then Commissioner Allen, this one's kind of for both of us, from both of us in a way. Commissioner Allen and I asked for a meeting with Safe Built, and I don't see an update on that.
Okay, well, I didn't have the specific information like for them to come to the commission meeting.
Yes.
Okay, I'll have them come to the next commission meeting.
What you missed at the last meeting was a very heartfelt discussion of all the negatives about Safe Built. So in my opinion, Commissioner Allen and I asked for this meeting. This is their last chance to try to win us over. The citizen who was going to come tonight and talk about her experiences isn't here, so I'm not going to play the audio recording of one of their big shots in Colorado. But let me tell you, I had to stop the recording and put it down because it made me so angry. And this man knew he was being recorded. So if that's how our citizens are being treated, I want Safe Built out. I'm just gonna say that, and I hope you guys quote me, gentlemen. I want Safe Built out of here. So this is their last chance to put on a really good horse and pony show and try to convince me of otherwise. I pulled the emails from, you had mentioned about the height and stuff for my roof. It actually was for my house and my garage, I was mistaken. And you made a very good point that, yeah, there could be like the gases, the sewer gases or whatever, but that wasn't even part of it, and I can't wait for the opportunity to read that set of emails from when I sent my permit in and said, hi, here's my application for my house and garage roof. Please let me know if there's anything else you need, where do I pay, and how much will it be? And the trail of ridiculousness that follows. So I'll save that for this meeting. And also, I've had an inspection since I've seen them, and I'm very curious if Lance wore his body cam, because I hope he did. So, Safeville, I'd love to hear when that meeting can happen, if it's not gonna be soon. Lucas, I don't know how you feel about this, but I think we should just have a discussion without them. How do you feel about that?
I'd like to see him first.
All right, okay, well, let's get them on the agenda as fast as possible. They should make time for us. All right, thank you. The Brownfield number 7 plan, there's no citizen representation on the Brownfield board, and while that is legal, a lot of money goes to Brownfield, and it makes me uncomfortable. So I think that this Brownfield plan number 7 needs a little public discussion, just because there's no citizen representation. So I would like to see that brought. You can email me that and I can disseminate it to the public, or we can talk about it here. Whatever you choose, Joe, that's up to you. Very happy about the vendor market, Angie, that's very cool. I'm curious, is it just at one time, or are you gonna try to do monthly?
I think they wanna see what it does and then, yeah.
Okay, excellent. And then lastly, this is our second meeting in June, and Joe, I don't see your performance review on it. Unless that's what we're gonna start to talk about, and I don't think it is, because you're not in a union and you're not real estate.
No, we're gonna do it next meeting.
Okay,
We'll send out the thing.
we should be consulted about whether or not that's gonna change. So, please send those forms out as soon as possible, so we have plenty of time.
Yeah, we'll get it
to
out there, don't worry.
review and discuss. So, if something that's, an actual resolution and has passed the commission needs to change, please at least put an update. This was gonna be a long meeting. I'd like to move this.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Well, that's our decision, not yours. So, thank you. All right, that's all I've got for comments. Director, you have to do something special, we'll close that, right?
Need a motion and 2/3 roll call vote.
2/3. We're not necessarily back. This 4 is not 2/3. Do we need 5 for 2/3?
With 2/3 of those present.
Of those present?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Do we have a motion to go into closed session to discuss real estate and, union contracts?
Four.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Roll
Yeah,
call,
roll call.
Okay.
Commissioner Allen?
Yes.
Commissioner King?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Mayor Johnston?
Yes. We just agreed to go into closed session.
Without me?
You're coming. But we didn't need you for that. All right, thanks everybody. Anybody who would like to wait around, I